Hey guys, welcome back to another lesson. I'm going to play a smooth gospel lick for you, but then we're going to break it down and I'm going to show you it's really quite easy to pick up for beginners. Here's the lick. Okay, so let's break this down. To make things a little easier to hear, I'm going to switch to an acoustic piano. It has a kind of a sharper attack, so it will make it easier for you to hear the distinct notes. Now, I'm going to start by playing an F major chord going into a C major chord. Now, this kind of motion isn't very pleasing to the ear, so I'm going to do a trick. I'm going to take this middle note, this A up here, and move it up an octave. And now I'm going to execute the motion, basically going down with these two notes on the C major scale, keeping the C note fixed. Now, this is a motion from an F major chord to a C major chord, but with much smoother voice leading. Now you can take this motion and transpose it really to any key, and you have 12 different ones, and you can play it, for example, in the key of F. So here you would have a B flat major going into an F major. Or you could have an E flat major going into a B flat major. And you can string the different keys along. The motion works when you're going up as well, so you can go from a C major to an F major. So I can do, say, an F major then to a B flat major, or a B flat major to an E flat major. The motion works also when you have minor chords. So here's an A minor going into an E major. So I'm doing the same kind of jump. I'm basically starting from an A and I'm going up by a perfect fifth or down by a perfect fourth. It's pretty much the same. And I can take this A minor, take the middle note, move it up an octave, and then go from an A minor to an E major. Or similarly, I can take something like an E major and go up to an A minor. Now, let me string a few of these together for you, and we're already going to have the sort of skeleton framework for the chord progression I played at the beginning. Not bad. I'm playing an F major to a C major, E major to an A minor, again F major to C major, and then B flat major for twice as long, F major for twice as long, and then landing on a C major. Now we can take this basic skeletal movement and embellish it. And let me show you a few ways in which we can do so. The first is adding the root note of the target chord. So for example, here I have an F major going to a C major, and I can keep the C pressed for both of them. Now the same goes for any of the other chord progressions. For example, for the E major going into the A minor, I can keep this E on top pressed. And then for the B flat major, I can press the F pressed going into the F major and again keeping the F pressed. Another way in which we can embellish this progression is to use hammer-ons. Basically, instead of hitting the A, let's say I'm doing this kind of motion from the F major to the C major, so instead of hitting the A and C together, like this, I can hit G and C and quickly switch to the A. Now I'm going to add the left hand only when I end or when I hit the target end note A here. Right, so it kind of imitates the way a guitar player would execute a hammer-on a string. Now we can take this a step further. We can not use the hammer-on at all and just keep the note on a G here. And what this basically does is it means that we play an F sus2 here, going into a C major. Now the C major itself can be embellished by adding the 7th and 2nd degrees of the C major scale. And this creates a much richer sound. It's now really a C major 9 over a bass of E, instead of just a simple C major over the bass of E. And we can do this again with any of the chords. For example, B flat major going into an F major. Now, we can keep on embellishing it, and let me give you another couple of ideas. Instead of, say, playing this C major 9 over the bass of E like this, I can choose to play, instead of the top note, I can choose the top note to be not a C but a D. So these are just two slight variations of each other, and I can switch between them if I, say, arpeggiate even in the right hand. Not too bad. A third way to embellish this is to, instead of playing the E major to the A minor, I can play a diminished 7th chord, like this. So this will be an F diminished 7th chord, and it's kind of a chord substitution for the E major chord. And one additional thing I've done is I've played this little flurry here. So instead of just playing a D to a C, I've snuck in this kind of motion. Now we can put everything together and pretty much recover what we've played at the beginning. So I'll play it again, this time on the piano, so you can hear the different notes ring out a little bit more clearly, I think. Note that for the final chord, I'm was playing this C major 9. I was rolling out the C major 9 over the bass of E, and I just ended with this arpeggiation of a C major chord. That's it. This is a really cool motion that you would be advised to master. It can really sound pretty good in a lot of different situations, as you've just seen. And I hope you learned something interesting, and I will see you next time.